Good evening, you're watching Estuary TV News. Coming up, singing for their suppers. Boys carry a tune at Grimsby Minster. We're fewer than 2 days away from North Ferriby United's trip to Wembley. We'll bring you the latest from their camp. And I'll be joined by our very own rambling Emma Lingard to review the week's regional papers. Welcome to Estuary TV News. I'm Hugh Richards. First of all, it's over to James Dunn for the news headlines.
Hello, Grimsby's St Andrew's Hospice opens its new building this weekend. Works on the first phase of the £6.5 million building are finally complete. It will take the number of bedrooms from 8 to 12 and vastly improve facilities inside and comfort for those receiving care.
Yes, we launched an appeal, the Building on Care appeal, last April, and although the money has been accrued over a number of years, we're really grateful to everybody who over the last probably 10 years we've been accruing the money to fund this whole project has contributed, and we would like to welcome everybody next weekend, 4th and 5th of April, Easter weekend, between 10 and 4. Drop in any time, we'd love to see you, and then you can see for yourself what we created for the local people of North East Lincolnshire and the wider community.
The Cleethorpes Coast Light Railway is looking forward to a bright future. The Signal Box Inn, which is on platform 1 of the railway station, has undergone a refurbishment after the railway went into new ownership last year and features a brand new cafe area and kitchen. It officially opens its doors this weekend, and one of the new owners, 19-year-old John Kerr, is optimistic about the cafe's success.
We don't know until we've tried, but we hope so. We certainly hope so. I mean, there is a bit of competition in the area, but it's nothing other than healthy competition. We like it. And every railway has a good cafe. It needs one. So we hope it will be a roaring success, yes.
And finally, a community group in Cleethorpes is trying to raise £100,000 to convert a dilapidated building into a youth facility. They already manage Sydney Sussex Rec, which opened its doors last year after they raised more than £50,000 to renovate it. Now they want to turn the building across the road into a centre for young people and are holding an activity day on Saturday where people can give their views.
We very often get youngsters around here just sitting around doing nothing, and when we speak to them they say there's nowhere to go, there's nothing to do. So our aim is to transform the building behind me into a youth type community hub.
Well, I'm afraid that's all we've got time for today, but I'll be back for an extended bulletin on Monday. Until then, bye for now.
Our news editor Emma Lingard is here to help me go through the regional papers. Emma, hello, how are you?
Hello, Hugh. I'm very well, thank you.
Good.
It's a bit of a change being back on the sofa.
Well, it's very good to have you here. What have you found in the press? I think you found a story about binge drinking.
There is.
Perennial story.
Oh, yeah. Hull Daily Mail, this one. We've been here before. Matthew Grove, obviously the Police and Crime Commissioner for Humberside, is talking once again about these drunk tanks. So, you know, there's a lot of chatter, isn't there, about the NHS and A&E being overwhelmed with drunks and having to sort them out, and the violence and abuse that obviously the staff get. So it seems Mr Grove has spent a bit of time at Hull Royal Infirmary and was appalled at what he saw, and is now in some meetings with the clinical commissioning group to look at putting a drunk tank near to Hull Royal Infirmary, to obviously keep anybody that's going out at the weekend and getting absolutely rat-faced away from A&E. The question is, he's willing to put the money there, but from the NHS perspective, from what it seems to read here in this article, is they're concerned about that it would still need to be staffed by nurses, and you would still need some kind of police presence, because obviously, judging by what a lot of people here are saying, is that when people are drunk they get violent, and the staff are being spat at, they're being, you know, physically hurt.
And if the drunks are going to A&E, then presumably they need medical treatment.
Well, the good thing here is, at the end of the day, you know, they're there fighting resources for people who genuinely need it. You know, people who are in there that are sick, who are dying. And as Mr Grove said, people who get drunk should not be treated like victims. and, you know, they should not be, basically, as he says, aiding and abetting their stupidity and wasting our most precious resources.
But if you get drunk and you get into a fight and you're glassed in the throat and your carotid artery is spewing
that
ropes
is
of blood,
different.
then
That's different, though, isn't it? If you've been there and you've been attacked, yeah, different. But if you're there because you've had a skinful and you're throwing up everywhere, then, yeah, why should we burden the NHS with this?
why don't they all just get slightly cheerful and find everything very amusing? That's
Like the good old days,
yes,
eh,
that's
Hugh?
what I do when I drink.
Hey, I have to have one sniff and I lay down.
You
Have a light way.
you have a story about ferrets, which, for
I
reasons that I'm not
do.
sure about, seem to be very close to your heart.
Hey, look! I mean, look at these. Who can't say that ferrets are so cute?
They
look?
are
They're
beautiful, aren't they?
beautiful. I like this story because I do have ferrets. I've kept ferrets for the last 8 years, and people where I live know that I keep ferrets. So when they find ferrets running around the village, it's like, oh, yeah, knock on Lingard's door. So I tend to have waifs and strays brought to my door. So I understand this. These two delightful, I think are they a boy and a girl? Oh no, the two boys, Jack and James, were found dumped at Hull Royal Infirmary. Well, say dumped, who knows? They could have escaped from their cage.
Maybe they were
could have been
drunk.
set free. Well, yeah, going back to that, yes, they could have been drunk. You won't want to fight with a ferret, I
No.
can tell you. They say they look fairly healthy, but there's a Hull and East Riding Ferret Rescue. I've taken them in, and they've got a fun day, I think, this weekend. So if you've got pet ferrets, you can take them along for ferret racing. If you fancy that, Hugh, you can borrow my ferrets
What's the
anytime.
attraction, Emma, of ferrets? I mean, I thought they bite. They're aggressive little things,
Well,
aren't they?
what it is, my granddad used to keep ferrets. He had a small holding and he had ferrets and he went rabbiting. And I think I must have caught the bug from him. So, you know, I've had numerous ferrets. I've got two at the moment called Finn and Jules. I always name them after the people that find them.
Right.
And they're just they are cuddly.
Okay, Emma, I'll believe you thousands wouldn't. We'll come back in a little bit. You're watching Estuary TV News. A little later, we chase another civic dignitary in our weekly request to know where's the mayor, and Dan Kemp will bring you all the sports news. After the success of male singers such as Sam Smith, who won 4 Grammy Awards, you'd be forgiven for thinking male singing would be very popular, but boys of school age still need a little encouragement, which is why Grimsby Minster hosted the Boys Singing event yesterday. Dave Nunn is in tune.
Singing is experiencing a revival in Grimsby recently with a multitude of singing days. This week, the latest event targeted a special audience.
Today is a really exciting day. It's another one of our singing festivals, which we organise and promote, which to encourage singing in the area. Yesterday we had hundreds of children at Grimsby Auditorium, and today we've got 400 boys here at Grimsby Minster to celebrate boys singing.
But why are boys of school age not singing or not confident to sing? Professional a cappella group Apollo 5, who led the event, have a few ideas why.
Well, I'm not sure why, but there's a sort of tradition of boys stopping singing at a certain age or becoming a bit more reluctant to sing. And so we're here to celebrate singing and to get them enthusiastic about it in this wonderful building.
It could take away whatever embarrassment they might feel from singing, not that there should be any. I think that sometimes girls are very confident to sing, and the boys might not want to embarrass themselves in front of them, so if you take the girls away, then there's no one to be embarrassed in front of them.
Male musicians have been very successful recently, and for Apollo 5 this is a reason why it's encouraging boys to sing from an early age, alongside the singing culture at Grimsby Minster.
I think incredibly important. It's something that I was really privileged when I was younger. I got to do a lot of singing in the place I grew up, and I think some opportunities aren't around for some people, and that's a real shame. We want to make sure that anyone who wants to sing can sing.
And there's a great history in this building, for example, of centuries of singing, so we want to encourage that to continue.
The children were enjoying the event, and it seems like the trend of boys stopping singing may be turned around thanks to events like this.
I want to know where's the Mayor. This week we hear about the schedule of John Everson, Mayor of Barton.
Right. Well, we're very much into the civic dinner season for all the town and parish mayors, where we all attend a number of civic dinners of each other's towns, and mostly the charitable affairs, where we're raising funds for the particular mayor's charities or causes or whatever. And I've got one coming up in Brigg, so it's a civic dinner of Brigg, and I would imagine there'll be all the local mayors, North Lincolnshire, Barton, Broughton, and obviously Brigg, and some from the other side of the river as well. North of the river, we get quite a few people coming from the Hull, the Lord Mayor of Hull, and Hessel as well. So it's civic dinner time. So I've got Brigg coming up, and I'm preparing for my civic dinner, which is a little later or earlier in the next month. Where my chosen charity is Blesma, which is the Armed Forces charity for servicemen injured during conflict and duty, particularly loss of limbs and blind. And so I'm contributing the biggest part of my civic year's fundraising for Blesma, but I'm also contributing for a local charity. Often mayors do this. A bigger charity and then a local charity, and my charity in Barton is the children's school down at Castledyke, where preschool children are looked after. Other things that are on the diary, we have the usual council meetings. I'm coming up to now my second to last council meeting in my mayoral year, but also the mayors, and we are no different in Barton, have town meetings. So as mayor, I chair that meeting, and the whole town are invited to attend this meeting, and we go through the financial aspects of the year and things that the council has done, from events like the Christmas festival through to plantings and things like that.
The moment when every Ferriby fan thought they were dreaming. Just 3 weeks ago, the club, nicknamed the Villagers, from a village of a population of around 4,000, booked their place at our national stadium. Dan Kemp went to check out the last-minute preparations before a small part of East Yorkshire descends on the capital.
This is the moment when Villagers fans started dreaming of Wembley glory. The semi-final penalty shootout success against Bath City set the club on course for their second but most significant trip to the home of English football. And for some of the players, it's a dream come true. Danny Clark was playing in the Humber Premier League at the start of the season and is now looking forward to striding out on the hallowed turf.
Obviously, it's completely different levels. It was perfect for the situation I was in with regards to work. But yeah, it was. I'm grateful for Hull United for allowing me to play, and obviously keep my fitness up. So hopefully I could one day come back to North Ferriby, and fortunately it's ended in a Wembley appearance.
And the stories keep on coming. Centre-half Greg Anderson owns his own gardening business, but it's the turf of Wembley he's focusing on.
You just can't think of anything else. All your friends and family are saying, "How you doing? Are you all right? How's the lads doing?" You get through training, you get through the games, make sure that you're all right and stuff. So yeah, it's great.
Manager Billy Heath has been at the club for over 3 years, and he's now in the process of preparing his charges for the big game.
We'll set up, what we won't be is negative. We will go and play our game as we usually do. That's the only way we can play. We can't sit and hold. Wrexham are big favourites, but we can't play. We can't play a holding game. We have to go for it. We have to go and we get men in people's boxes, and that's where we'll be going in the final, regardless of our Wrexham setup. I don't think we've had any distractions at all. I think you can tell by the results that we're picking up results. We had one poor performance against Lowestoft at home, but apart from that, we've been fantastic, to be fair. And I think what you've got is 20 odd players trying to get into that 16, and their attitude and desire has been fantastic, and you can see that in the performances.
Recent research suggests that Grimsby has one of the most unhealthy high streets in the country. We wondered what the thinking was from the people on that high street.
Here I am on Grimsby's High Street, which was recently discovered to be one of the most unhealthy in the country. But I'm here to ask people, is there anything we can do about it? And do they want to?
I'd love to see green grocers, a wool shop, everything. I'd love to see all that, but the rates are ridiculous. So that's all you'll get.
I don't think they're here for the fast food. I don't think they're here for the betting. I mean, go to a betting shop anywhere, can't you? So I mean, I think they're here to go to the bank like I am, and just shop. And I mean, yeah, okay, we do use Greggs occasionally because we have a sausage roll. But that's what everybody does, you know.
Been a lot more what's worse than this.
Yeah, we're not from here, so it's the first time we've come, so it doesn't look too bad to me.
Oh, great, so it's not stopped you coming?
No.
No, it's the first time we've been here, so.
Plenty of it's shut down now, isn't it? Not a lot left open, is there, really, to be... But yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, I get you there. Like, 'cause I work around the corner, like if I want something that's a bit healthy for food, I haven't really got any choice. I've got McDonald's, Greggs and Subway, and that's just about it. There's not really any way you can get something decent to eat unless you go to Marks and Spencer's.
It's all right to just visit. It's like Scamthorpe, you just visit. And Hull, you just visit.
How would that make...
It's only unhealthy because it's such a small high street. If you went to any big city or out and they added just as many, it wouldn't be unhealthy because there'd be bigger high streets. So no, I don't think it's an unhealthy high street.
There's plenty of people pass through here. There's a lot of activity down here. I don't see it as unhealthy at all.
Emma's still with me for more from the local press. Emma, before we go on with that, though, you've been busy.
I have been very busy. I've been putting the finishing touches to my Rambles programme. Right. I've done my final walk for the year, and that programme starts in May. 6 parts, which sees me go from Louth, down the coastline to Tetney, across through Caister, over to Brig. So yes, at long last.
At long last, but that's your final walk you do in late March. You don't want to give yourself the nice weather to make these programmes?
Well, no, we normally do. I mean, we started last summer, and then obviously, through various things, it's trying to, logistically get things together. But I'm hoping that as soon as that series has aired in May, that I'm going to start the one which will be broadcast next year. So I'm going to have to start. I've done my planning. Research and get that one underway as well.
Excellent.
So it's all busy.
Yep. Anything else?
Along with that, lots of new programmes. One of my roles at the moment is finding new programmes. So I'm having lots of dialogue with local filmmakers. There's some fabulous documentaries and films out there that we'll be seeing. But also a lot of people from around the rest of the UK coming to us because they're saying, we like what you're doing. You've been doing it the longest, we want to work with you, and that's really great. So hopefully our viewers will see, lots more new programming coming through.
Excellent.
As well. So
Good.
It's good
Look
stuff.
forward to the new programming, although it seems that none of my ideas are good enough.
You've got to get past the commissioning editor, Hugh.
Well, you found a slightly depressing story from Market Raisin.
Yeah, sadly. I mean, we've done this over the years. Mr. Big, which was the group which was set up, obviously Mary Porterstown, to get trading. Front page of Market Raisin Mail is closing down, sadly. About 3 shops in the high street, I think, have closed over this last week, either due to rising rents or family issues. I mean, it says here, hundreds of thousands of pounds of government funding have been poured into this town. And obviously most people are saying the economy is recovering. So questions are being asked, why is it that a lot of shops are closing their doors? And, obviously we'll run up to the election, all the parliamentary
free parking
candidates.
In Market Raisin as well.
There is. I mean, I like going there, but whether there's enough.
Is this big supermarkets outside towns creating too much competition?
I don't think so, because the shops that are closing, one's a tattoo parlour.
Right. Don't get that at Sainsbury's.
No, one's a delicatessen. The other one is a clothing store. I mean, I know Market Raisin has a Tesco, but it's not that far. It's within walking distance of the high street, so it's not people having to go out of town. Nobody knows. Some people, I mean, the candidates are obviously all canvassing at the moment, and they've got various reasons.
It's just another
you know,
another
ebb and flow
unhealthy
of
high
business.
street, I suppose, rather
It
like
is sadly
what we were just seeing.
very sad, but you know, maybe that things can be turned around. As I say, people need to use it or lose it.
You are a great horsewoman, of course. You have news of the Kipling Coates Derby.
I do, yeah. I had to get a horse story in, you know
Absolutely.
me. We've got to get one
Ferrets
in.
and horses, we know your priorities.
And
Ferrets,
history.
horses and binge drinking.
Yeah.
What's
All at the same time.
What are the results of the Derby?
Well, do you know what? I've still never been to see the Kipling Coates Derby at all. I should be the horse reporter, shouldn't I? I thought it was great because, one, it's such an ancient horse race, and
Yes.
I love that sense of, you know, doing these things. But the fact it was an engaged to be married couple, wasn't it?
It
that
was,
won?
who came first and second.
Yeah,
that was very
absolutely
sweet.
fabulous.
The second prize getting more money.
I know, it doesn't make sense.
Emma,
does
that's
it?
all we have time for. Thanks so much
Thank
for
you.
coming in. Now, here's all the sport with Dan Kemp.
As you've been hearing, North Ferriby United head to Wembley for the FA Trophy final on Sunday. It's the first time the Villagers have played at the new Wembley, with their only previous visit to the National Stadium being in 1997. But their opponents Wrexham will be hoping to put a spanner in the works like they did for Grimsby Town in 2013 when they beat them in the final. Elsewhere, Scunthorpe United will be looking to avenge their heavy midweek defeat to Sheffield United when they travel to Notts County tomorrow. New signing Theo Robinson, on loan for the remainder of the season from Doncaster, is expected to feature. And you can hear from Mark Robbins by finding our Facebook page. Meanwhile, Grimsby Town welcome new signing Josh Gowling from Kidderminster Harriers into their side for tomorrow's clash at Welling United. The Mariners are now just 3 points behind league leaders Barnet. The Hull Stingrays take on the Brayhead Clan in the first stage of the Elite League playoffs on Saturday and Sunday evening. The Rays first travel to Scotland, where face-off is 7 p.m, and then Sunday sees them return to the Hull Arena, where there's a 6 p.m. start time. Hull Ionians have extended the contract of head coach Alex Crockett by a further 2 seasons. Eyes currently sit 3 points clear at the top of National League 2 North, ahead of tomorrow's game against Luctonians. Director of Rugby Sean Carty said he was delighted to secure Alex for the following seasons, which will allow the club to develop on their progress made so far this season and will give continuity and stability. And finally, in Rugby League, Hull FC are at the Castleford Tigers at 8 p.m. tonight, and Hull KR kick off at the same time as they host unbeaten St Helens.
That's all we have time for. Thanks very much, Dan. If you have a story, please go to our Facebook or Twitter pages. Details on the screen. Email news@estuary.tv or phone Grimsby 31553. Good luck, North Ferriby. Until Monday, good evening.
Hello there and welcome to Estuary TV's weather. Mild and windy with a band of heavy rain briefly moving east through the morning, mostly dry and bright from late morning, but very windy with gales and isolated showers with a maximum temperature of 15 degrees. It's going to be chilly, bright and windy on Sunday with some early rain clearing and then scattered showers.